Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the now award-winning Gamers Watch podcast. My name is Harry and with me is...
Shaun.
And yeah, basically we won an award, so we're just going to ham that up as much as we can. We are... What was the award again? It was the Self-Made Independent Podcast Awards. And what category did we win, Shaun?
Ours was Best Video Game Review Podcast.
So can you just repeat that again? What award did we win?
The Smeeper Award for Best Video Game Review Podcast.
So we are an award-winning podcast. Just wanted to clear that up, get it out there straight away, that we aren't just two miserable fuckers sometimes who talk about games, who often talk about shitting their pants. We're now award-winning idiots who talk about games and often talk about shitting their pants.
I got my cardboard cutout trophy all set up next to me.
We do. We've got the trophy, we've got the prize money, the giant check is on its way. But I will be talking a little bit more about the Smeepers at the end of this show. Just before we start, I just wanted to say thank you to all of our amazing Twitter followers, because we have a Twitter now, but it's a new Twitter. We are at Gamers Watch Crew, and we just overtook the follower count for our now dead page, because it's been 2.5 weeks and Twitter support still haven't got back to us. So onwards and upwards.
Bastards.
Now we've had some really good conversations with loads of people on Twitter. Really great interaction from the amazing podcast community, and especially with us winning an award. We've had lots of congratulations, which was lovely. So please do follow us on Twitter. So at Gamers Watch Crew, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, Gamers Watch Podcast. And please, if you do enjoy this show, we would really, really appreciate it if you shared it around, told some friends about it. Our sort of goal is that the next awards that we win will be like an Oscar or a Grammy, or, you know, maybe even like a Nobel podcast prize. So we can only do that by getting more than 50 listeners a week. So if you enjoy this show, please feel free, share it about, send it to friends, even your mum, just send it to your mum, be like, Mum, listen to Harry talk about a time he shit his pants in a bar. And I'm sure that they'll love it. So please do give it a share around. Just one other podcast. I don't know, Shaun, have you listened to the episode yet of the McIvers podcast?
I have, yeah. I listened to the first half yesterday when I got back from work, and then listened to the second half today when I got back from work.
Wasn't the guest on that podcast amazing?
He sounded award-winning to me.
Did he sound award-winning? Well, I think that might be because he was award-winning. So yeah, I was on the Throw Something At Me podcast, which was awesome. They talked about my favourite TV show, Community, and I basically spent an hour and a half saying that I wanted to marry Donald Glover, which I think is fair.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was a really fun episode to record. They've got their season finale coming out. It would probably be the Monday after this launches, and it's a Breaking Bad episode, which, Shaun, you're too lazy to finish. But again,
I'm not too lazy.
It was just
fucking awful. It started good, and then I got to season 3. And I got to the Fly episode, and I can't remember which. Do you like the Fly episode?
I think it's one of the best episodes of Breaking Bad, and everyone else hates it, and I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, so it was, you said to me it's one of the best episodes, and then Ryan, who had also watched all of Breaking Bad and was telling me to watch it, said it's one of the worst episodes, and I was like, oh, I'll start it, and then I realised it's a whole episode of just them fucking watching a fly. I was like, no, I'm done. So that was as far as I got.
However, the McIvers podcast is coming out on Monday, and that ringing endorsement from Shaun, I'm sure they will use as the tagline for the next episode.
Well, they can try and convince me to watch it.
Good point. So when the McIvers listen to this, they need to go back in time and they need to re-record their Breaking Bad episode and make sure that they get Shaun's approval before they release the episode.
Well,
no pressure there, guys.
Have they recorded it yet?
I think so. Yeah, I think they recorded it a few days after we recorded Community.
Never mind then. I was going to say, I'll just message them and be like, by the way, I think Breaking Bad's shit, so can you try and convince me otherwise?
Well, to be fair, I think that they're entertaining enough that they probably will convince you otherwise.
Yeah.
But just watching the show should convince you otherwise.
No, they've done the complete opposite.
You know what? We could argue about Breaking Bad for the next 3 hours. I've just remembered something, Shaun.
Yes.
We're an Xbox podcast.
No, we're an award-winning Xbox podcast.
Sorry. We're an award-winning Xbox podcast. And there's been some pretty immense news come out in the last, 3 hours of us recording this related to Xbox. So shall we move into the news?
Yes.
Me saying move into the news is when the music will start.
I'm guessing
it's
playing
move
now.
into the news again. It's going to start again now.
So every time you say it's going to restart.
I can't wait to edit that later on. So should we go through some news related to the content that we're award-winning for?
Yeah.
Sweet. So the first one really isn't the huge news. We're going to save that until the end. I'm just a little bit confused by this rumour that there apparently is going to be Stadia support coming to the Series S and the Series X. I don't know how that will work.
No, I saw that they've got a new browser for the Xbox, and it's basically that browser will be able to use Stadia, as far as I can tell from what I've read. But do you want to use Stadia on your Xbox?
Yeah, so all 7 people that use Stadia will be really excited to know that they can buy a £500 console to play the thing that they already pay a premium for, and a monthly subscription, and they have to buy a controller, and then they have to buy the games. Because I didn't know this, on Stadia, you don't just get the games to stream, like the Game Pass app on your phone. You have to still buy the games at full price.
Yeah, you pay a subscription, a Stadia subscription, and then you buy what games
and then you buy
play.
the games
at
full retail.
Mm-hmm.
So where's the benefit there?
No, the only benefit I would have seen of it being on Xbox was if there was like Stadia exclusive games. But considering there's no developers for Stadia, I don't think that's going to happen.
What did they do a few weeks ago? They closed the development team down before they'd even made a game.
And before they could sponsor us.
Yeah, I know. I'm still really annoyed about that. We'll talk about our sponsorship situation a little bit later on, but that wasn't great.
Yeah, so...
But I just thought that was an interesting bit of news that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I can't see it being utilised very much by many people. Maybe like if you've already got a game on Stadia and you go to Xbox, then fair enough, you can still play that game without having to buy it.
But if you've already got an Xbox, then you just buy the game on Xbox.
Yeah, true. Actually, that's a point.
So
if you stop paying your Stadia subscription, do you lose access to the game you've bought, or do you
you do. Yeah, you can only play. So you can get Stadia for free, but that doesn't allow you to play in 4K. So you can only play in 1080.
Right.
So if you don't pay for Stadia, the games that you've bought are downgraded to match your subscription.
Wow.
Yeah. So, if you don't have Stadia Pro, then you can only play in 1080. So if you buy a game while you have Stadia Pro, and then you downgrade because Stadia is pointless and you don't want to waste your money on it, the game that you've spent money on, Google then decide you're not going to be able to play it as well as you used to.
You haven't paid
enough.
It's a great service.
I don't see why it's not taken off.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand Stadia. And it's funny because we'll talk a little bit later on about cloud gaming, and it's not to say that I don't think cloud gaming is good. It's just very clear that Stadia, they're Google's version of the Ouya or the Ouya or whatever it was called.
Oh god, I forgot about the Ouya.
The Ouya. That is essentially what I see Stadia as, is a really shit Ouya.
Yeah,
that you pay premium for.
That took a dive bomb to a whole new level.
It did. It was the No Man's Sky of consoles before No Man's Sky even came out.
But without the redemption arc.
Yeah, it was No Man's Sky without any redeeming qualities whatsoever. Yeah. Shaun, did you want to go through the next little rumour that's currently in the rumour mill?
This is the Watch Dogs Legions apparently coming to Game Pass in the near future.
So I remember when I was looking at Valhalla, I was wondering if you play the other, because there's like 50 different premium services these days with different game developers. I wondered if Uplay was on Game Pass, and I was a bit disappointed to find out that it wasn't, and it wasn't even available on consoles.
No.
So my thoughts with Watch Dogs Legions possibly coming to Game Pass could be that, like EA Play, they could bundle Uplay into Game Pass. Would that work?
It would work if they'd done it. Whether they will or not, I don't know, because Ubisoft aren't really as close to Microsoft as EA were, because obviously EA Play was on Xbox for years before Sony actually allowed it on the PlayStation. So
Yeah, I guess so.
and obviously Uplay's not on consoles at the moment, so it would just be Game Pass PC. But it could be the start of it.
It would be an interesting move because obviously with the other news that we're going to talk about now, in a second, Microsoft are going in hard with developers at the moment. They want as many studios as they can get, and even if it's not that they bring them into the Microsoft sort of studio, even if they just like form better relationships with them, bringing Uplay to Game Pass could be brilliant. But again, is it going to increase the price of Game Pass? Is it going to mean that there's another service that you have to pay for? It's like you can get Disney Plus, Netflix, Discovery Plus is a new one, BritBox if you don't want to just download more for and the iPlayer. You know, it's...
Wait, Discovery Plus?
It's just another... Yeah, you can watch all the Discovery shows at a premium price because, you know, who doesn't want to pay $8.99 a month to watch, you know, Ice Road Truckers and Gold Diggers?
Isn't Discovery Channel part of Disney now? Because there's definitely Discovery Channel stuff on Disney Plus.
Yeah, but you have to pay a premium on top of your Disney Plus for Discovery Plus. And I didn't even know this. There's apparently a premium Disney Plus as well, on top of normal Disney Plus, if you just want to watch the new film they've released.
Yeah, they do. They're doing Premier Access, I think they call it. So while theatres are shut, or cinemas for us, instead of going to cinema because you can't, you pay to watch the film.
Well, you can if you're in Texas now because they've dropped all the mandates.
I saw that. But
let's not get into that.
I'm 50-50 with Premier Access at the moment because Raya and the Last Dragon was really good. And I thought the live action Mulan was not really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, live action Mulan is a disgrace to one of the greatest animated films ever made. So the less we talk about Mulan, the live action, the better.
Yeah.
But should we talk about something really good?
If a Disney podcast ever asks me on for a host, then I'll just rant on it for there. I'll take over the episode. Why live action Mulan is a piece of shit.
Disney related, if there's a Disney Plus podcast, sort of like we're a Game Pass podcast, then you can go on there and you can say how shit that film is.
Oh, just any Disney
And I'm sure
podcast.
they'd agree because it's cack.
Yeah.
But should we talk about the big news, Shaun? The big, ginormous, humongous news that we've already talked about 3 weeks ago.
Gigantamax news. Yeah, we didn't go in depth though, so... But now we can have an award-winning talk about it.
Now that we're award-winning, we can talk about it with some real clarity and some real hard-hitting journalism.
Michael Pachter levels of insight here.
Who's Michael Pachter?
He was that analyst for the games industry quite a few years ago now. I think it was while we were at secondary school, and he got quite famous. And then I'm pretty sure he made loads of predictions that just were completely wrong. And he sort of faded out.
Oh, fair enough.
You'd recognise him if you saw him.
So yeah, we're him basically.
So we haven't got them wrong yet because we haven't made any guesses.
So Shaun, tell the big news.
So ZeniMax and Bethesda deal with Microsoft is finally all complete and
official.
Yep, all done. And they're going to be. I'm pretty sure all of it's going to be called Vault now. So it's Vault is now part of Microsoft, and they've announced that some of their games going forward will be exclusive to Xbox and PC.
Okay, so I am going to make my prediction. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna just put my prediction pants on. Just a second. So my prediction is games made by Vault, Bethesda, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Wolfenstein. They will be exclusive.
Yeah.
Published games, e.g. Doom, they will be cross-party. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Basically, their big main titles will be exclusive, and then
which will be huge because they'll be day one exclusives
and day one Game Pass
on Game Pass. Yeah,
and then the smaller third party, I guess, games will still be multi-platform, and any that are in development already that they've got contracts with. Obviously, they won't change.
Yeah, because they've already said that they're not going to redo the contracts with games that are already lined up. But going forward from now, I think it will be any game that is developed by Bethesda will be a Xbox exclusive day one on Game Pass, and I think anything published by them will be cross-platform.
Yeah, that's what I can see happening.
They would be stupid not to make the Elder Scrolls and Fallout exclusives.
And Starfield.
That would be huge. Yeah. God, I keep forgetting about that game.
Well, they
keep mentioning it to me,
it
I'm like, oh, that giant, massive game that they're making. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they've mentioned it once at E3, I think it was, and just haven't really said anything since. But They're always like that, Bethesda. Or Vault, now I should say.
I am pumped. I am so pumped. I really hope that the first thing they do is they put every single Bethesda game on back catalogue on Game Pass.
Wow.
Because, man, that will make our lives a lot easier choosing games for each other.
They have said in the past, 2 hours that I think it's next week there's more Bethesda games coming to Game Pass. So I'm guessing that's going to be their back catalogue. I don't know how many, but there is at least some.
Oh, man, that would be so good.
I'm guessing obviously it'll be Oblivion and stuff like that.
All of them. Just all of them. I mean, I've already bought Skyrim 7,000 times, but just to have it on Game Pass, yeah, that'll be alright. That'll be good. So yeah, I'm just really amped. I can't believe that it's finally gone through. All of the predictions that people were making, nobody knows yet because Microsoft was so guarded about everything that they said. It was such a finely tuned announcement that they made. You could tell that every single word was picked by a HR rep.
Yeah.
To be right, if you say this, then you can't get in trouble. And all it did was make everybody sort of bang their heads against the wall saying, well, we already knew that was happening.
No. Yeah, it was so funny. We still don't know everything. We don't know what games are going to be exclusive. And...
what it does is it gives us the opportunity to just talk bollocks for a few minutes. So it's all worth it at the end.
That's the best sort of talk.
That's all we do.
Speculation.
We talk award-winning bollocks. It's award-winning bollocks that we talk, so it's fine.
It should be our new tagline. That is our tagline. It's no longer an okay-ish podcast. It's award-winning bollocks.
That is 100% our new tagline. Shaun, I need you to get on Photoshop. I need you to sort it out now.
I'll be working on it tomorrow alongside the season 2 or rebrand, whatever we're calling it, logo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Spoiler alert: we're rebranding for season 2. We don't know when season 2 will be.
When it's done.
Yeah, we don't even know when season 1 will be finished. Just one day we'll be like, hey, it's season 2. And everyone will be like, I didn't know you did seasons. And that will just be us introducing season 2.
We're going to take the CD Projekt Red approach and we're going to say it's going to be out when it's done.
We've released our podcast broken.
Yeah,
and we're going to fix it over time.
When we launch it, we'll have a Patreon for you to subscribe to us for exclusive content. You won't get the content because it's broken, but we'll still take your money.
Yeah, of course. And then if anyone slags us off, we'll just say, no, shut up, I'm not listening, la 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 la. And then we'll hire
we're
Keanu
award-winning
Reeves to do our intro. Yeah, we're award-winning, do one. We can do what we want. And we'll swing our massive award-winning bollocks all over your face.
Do you remember, it was either last episode or the episode before where I said that we're more important than our viewers.
Yes, that was last episode.
Well, now our egos are twice as big.
I know, we can barely fit through the doors.
I mean, I couldn't anyway, but...
Our award-winning egos. Oh, man. Hell. So, yeah, there's been some good news this week that, we won an award, but also that Bethesda got announced finally. So, some pretty big stuff going on in the Microsoft world.
Yes.
Some pretty
Game Pass is shaping up nicely for this generation.
Game Pass is shaping up nicely. And obviously, every week we play various Game Pass games. What a smooth transition that was. Every week we play various Game Pass titles. Shaun, what did you want me to play last time?
Kato.
And Shaun, what did I want you to play last time?
Slay the Spire.
Cool. Should we talk about Kato and Slay the Spire?
Yes. I think we have to.
Cool. Yeah, we sort of do that. It's the main bit of the episode.
Contractually obliged by ourselves.
I know. So I'm just going to sum up my thoughts on Kato very quickly.
Yeah.
Shaun, can you just replay the bit from the last episode where you just go meh when we talk about Enter the Gungeon?
Oh, when I just went meh?
Yeah, that's how I feel about Kato. It's okay. It's just very boring. And it's you play it for 5 minutes and then you've played it for 10 hours. It's the same thing.
Right.
Nothing more happens than you find a puzzle, you find a piece of a map, you turn it around a few times, you go, oh, I'll walk to that place. You walk to that place, there's a little puzzle that you have to solve that is follow this man, or walk in the direction that it's pointing in, or copy the picture that I'm showing you. And then you get another bit of a map, and then you flip it around and you go, oh, I'll walk there and do exactly the same thing, and it's that for 10 hours. And it looks nice and the music's okay, but fuck me, it's boring.
So when you say when you've played it for 5 minutes, you've played it for 10 hours, it's not like one of those things where you look at your watch and you're like, fuck me, I played this for 10 hours. It's like one of those things where...
No, it's like, oh my god, have I played this for 5 minutes or 10 hours?
Yeah, Shannon will look at the TV for 5 minutes, turn around, and you're like old, grey, wrinkly. Like...
Yeah, honestly, it just isn't very fun. It's cute, it's got a nice little story. The actual storyline behind it's quite nice, but the game itself is fucking boring. Unless, you just like rotating maps. If that's your thing, if your hobby in life is getting hold of old maps, or your dad's AA map in the back of the car and just turning it round loads and then going, oh look, a river, and then pointing at it, then this game is definitely for you.
So this is the cartographer's wet dream.
Wait, is that why it's called Carto?
Yeah, because a cartographer is someone that does maps, isn't it? Or stars.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I was wondering why it was called Carto. Because the girl's called Carto. I was like, oh, it's just because she's called Carto. I'm
not going to lie, that only just clicked for me as well.
Yeah, but I did play it for 8 hours, so... You just listened to me talk about it for 3 minutes and you got it, and I played it for 8 hours, and I was like, oh, that's new news to me. That's new information.
I only got it because you just pointed it out.
Yeah, and I was pointing it out to myself for 8 hours without realising. But wow. Yeah, it's okay. It's just, again, it's a very good game for Game Pass, and especially with quick resume, because you can just drop into it for half an hour and walk aimlessly around the same map for an hour. But yeah, the puzzles aren't really great. One of the puzzles was literally follow the arrows on the screen. That was the puzzle.
Right.
You just followed the arrow and you walked that way of the map, got to the next bit of grass, and it was follow the arrows and just move the bits of the map around while you're following arrows. It's okay. It's just very boring.
It's one of those pass the time for a
lovely
couple
soundtrack.
Minutes sort of thing.
Yeah, lovely soundtrack, and it's nice and chilled out, but I was just looking for a bit more puzzle and less nothing. That's how I would describe it. There wasn't
puzzle,
really anything to do.
Less Carto.
Yeah, less Carto, more Shuto, I guess.
Oh, wow.
It just wasn't very fun, but I'd still recommend it to people if they want to play games that aren't fun. Sort of like Desperados 3. If you want to play a game that's not fun, then pick it up.
Oh, my voice is going before I've even started on this Desperados 3
Yeah,
again.
I know. I thought I'd trigger you. But no, overall, it was just a little bit underwhelming. But, made by a small team. It's not a AAA game. It's just a nice, cute little indie game with a funky little story and a nice soundtrack with not a lot going for it gameplay-wise.
Yeah.
But overall, it was all right.
From what I could tell when I was looking at it, when I picked it for you, it looked like the sort of game, what was it called? Like Flower and Journey, where there's
it was a bit like
no
that.
challenge, you just sort of casually play through it.
Yeah, you just exist in this world and you just walk around it, which is okay for some games, but just didn't really butter my toast.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to give it 6 slices of toast out of 17.
It's coming up half a loaf.
6 out of 17. Do you know?
It's coming up to half a loaf. Add 2 more.
Okay, you've redeemed yourself.
Add 2 more slices, and you're basically at half a loaf, aren't you?
And put this in a pot, and you're making a stew.
Baby, you've got a stew going.
So should we talk about Slay the Spire? Because we both played that.
Have Throw Something At Me done a Arrested Development episode yet?
I don't think they have.
Oh, we need to get in on that, because I want to talk about stew now.
We'll be in discussions with them. We'll throw something at them and see if it lands.
Our reward.
Yeah, we'll throw our reward at them because they didn't fucking win one.
Oh, it's already beating it to the ground.
Sorry, guys. That was really mean.
That was.
It's such a good podcast, and I feel like a bastard now. I'm very sorry, James and Sam.
We'll rig it next time so they win, no matter what.
We will.
Unless it's the video game.
We probably rigged this one.
Maybe.
I mean, we didn't rig this one. We won it totally legitimately. Quick, Shaun, move on to Slay the Spire.
Oh, God. Yeah, Game Pass. So
Game Pass. Genuinely, I want to know your thoughts on Slay the Spire because I personally believe that this might be a roguelike that you actually enjoy.
Okay.
So tell me, did you enjoy it?
I thought it was good for one of those, old browser-based Flash games, but for a proper game, it is fucking shit. So like the battles, it's really static. Like the ability animations and the effects are like they're really limited and lifeless. Sort of like the complaints that Pokemon I was literally about to say the complaints that Pokemon games get. There's absolutely no challenge to it. It's like I have more of a challenge remembering to breathe through the night than I do playing this. Because
I find it really difficult. I can't ever beat it.
I think in my first 7 runs, I got to the final boss about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, but did you ever beat the final boss?
No, but you shouldn't get to the final boss in a roguelike after the first 8 turns.
But the point is that it's a short, very short roguelike that takes half an hour to finish. That's the point of it. It's a very, very short game that you can play often. Try different things.
The point of roguelikes...
Do a hard mode where you just go against enemies and you just go against the big bad bosses and you don't heal and you don't use any of your coins.
Oh, I didn't use any of my coins.
But you do different things.
But, it shouldn't be that quick to get to the final boss. And also, it looks like shit. That, you can...
Yeah, it does look a bit like shit.
You can't say that Desperados 3 looks like shit and then have any redeeming qualities to something that looks like a 5-year-old's art project that you're too ashamed to even stick on the fridge.
Oh yeah, no, I'll wholeheartedly admit that it looks like shit, and the animations look absolutely cack.
And there's all the enemies' locations and all that. There's no cohesion to it. They've literally just chucked any old shit in and gone, fuck it, that'll do. What else is there? I can't even remember the music or sounds, so that must have been complete wank. The only thing, I'll give them this, the only thing the devs got right was they were able to put their brains together for a little while to not have a spider enemy. I was actually...
Yes, I genuinely was thinking when I was playing it over the cloud, I was like, I haven't come across any spiders
No, I
yet.
don't think there is any in there. But...
So not a fan.
No, I'd enjoyed it. I just needed to get a Desperados rant out of the way. It's out of all the roguelikes you've made me play, it's my favourite, I must admit.
That's good. I think I picked it because I knew that it wasn't very roguelike because of how fast you can get through it. Because one of our frustrations with roguelikes is that you could spend 2 hours on a run and then lose everything.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, you don't lose everything because you always start with something.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I think could have been better was the starting decks you have. So 3 of the characters... basically play the same for the first act until you manage to get their specific cards. So it would have been good if you started with 1 or 2 cards that completely changed that sort of gameplay with that character.
Or if that, I know that there's the custom game mode, but if there was just a few more options to sort of wild card it up a little bit. So start with wounds, or start with slime, or start with just defense cards and 1 attack card, so you're constantly defending and picking people off. If there was bit more customization, then I agree with that.
Yeah, but because the first, I can't remember the name of the first character, but the second one's called Silent. I remember that, and they essentially play the same for the first act. And then I tried the third character who has the orbs and
the orbs. Yeah, that's a good addition.
Yeah, but you're able to start using those orbs straight away with him. And I think that's what they should have done with Silent, use their abilities straight away instead of sort of playing out the same for a little while and then unlocking stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's definitely good. It's unique,
well,
the way a card game roguelike, I guess.
There is another game, it's not on Game Pass, but that I've showed you before, Into the Breach, that is very similar, where that does it really well, where straight away from the get-go, the different characters play very differently. And I do agree with you there that there should have been a bit more sort of disparity between the characters and the decks that you start with.
Literally all it needs to be is 1 or 2 cards that are unique to that character you start
major,
with.
Is it?
Because what I found otherwise was that the first 4 or 5 battles are just blocking for 6, attacking for 6, blocking for 6, attacking for 6, sort of thing. But that's it. Other than that, once you get past the first act, it's completely different each time, depending on what character you are.
Yeah, which I really enjoy, and that you can choose how you play it. So you can choose if for some runs you might want to just keep going to the shops and avoid as many enemies as you can, but then when you get to the Act 2 boss, you're not going to have many cards and you're not going to have really gained anything from it, and you're just going to hope that your normal deck will get you through it. Or you can just go like the complete run and gun and try and get as many new cards in your deck as possible, but risk getting to the second boss with like no HP whatsoever. So, and I think the relics are a really good way of changing things up as well. So the ability relics that you get really do change up how you play, and the fact that they're random, I think, is great.
Yeah, the only other thing again that annoyed. Oh, actually, it's a good thing that they've done that I normally complain about with roguelikes, but also a bad thing. You actually get XP at the end of each run, so each run matters.
Yes,
but
you do.
The things basically with the XP, you unlock new cards for that character, and they're still not selectable at the start of a run. You just have a chance of getting them through the run.
But they're getting somewhere because they've got an XP system.
But so each run still matters. It just would have been nice if when you unlocked the cards, maybe at the start of a run, it's like you can select 1 or 2 cards to take with you.
You could choose one of 3 of them, yeah.
But they got it right that
I
you
agree
get
with
XP.
that. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, because you didn't seem to be massively won over by it when we first talked about it. So,
I'm not going to lie. And as soon as we had that fucking Desperados free talk and I knew I was playing a roguelike, in my mind I was like, no matter how much I enjoy this, I need to slate it first just to get it off my chest.
You fucker.
It did confuse me when I got to the end, though.
Did it butter your toast?
Ooh, it buttered it, and I don't know, people hate. Yeah, it buttered it and it marmited it, because I love Marmite, so.
Oh, so it marmited your toast. There we go. So how many scoops of Marmite would you give it?
Oof, I'd give it 3 gloopy scoops out of 5.
There we go. So 3 gloopy scoops out of 5, which is basically like a 3.5.
Pretty much, because Marmite's fucking gloopy.
So 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Easy. There we go.
It's spreadable.
And that's not just any opinion, is it, Shaun?
No,
what type of opinion is that?
That is an award-winning Marmite opinion for a game.
There we go.
Oh, it also gets a gameplay. I forgot that we had that ranking system.
Yeah. Completely forgot about that.
Yeah, the main thing again.
So, Shaun.
Yes.
It's that time where we choose a new game for each other.
Oh, don't be a roguelike.
No. It's not going to be a roguelike. You tell me
row.
First what you want me to play.
Mine is called Unruly Heroes.
Unruly Heroes.
And I think it's a bit of an action platformer, because I couldn't find any like gameplay clips when I was quickly searching for them, but I found screenshots. It looks like an action platformer sort of game, but really the art style looks really close to like Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends.
Oh, okay.
And I love that art style, so I'm making you play that for me.
Fair enough. And what was the name of that one again?
Unruly Heroes.
Unruly Heroes.
You'll see exactly what I mean by the art style when you go to download it on the app.
So, Shaun, I want you to play...
Oh, God, drum roll.
Katana Zero.
Oh, okay. Let me get that downloaded.
Okay. I wanted you to play it last week, and I decided against it. I want you to play Katana Zero this week.
Okay.
And you are not going to be disappointed. And if you are disappointed, then it may be the end of this podcast. Okay, no pressure.
I'm sure I'll like it. It's not a roguelike, is it?
No, it's not. It's an action platformer. Cool. You will like it, don't worry. Now, should we move on very swiftly to Game in 60 Seconds?
Yeah. Who's going
Cool.
first?
Let's go. So, Shaun, do you want to remind the people of your Game in 60 Seconds from last week?
Oh, fuck me. It was Grandpa Simpson's Adventure, wasn't it?
Grandpa Simpson's Grand Adventure. And my one was that bloke took a test, he got a good score at night. Something like that.
I thought yours was
That bloke got good test results at night. Something like that. I can't really remember exactly. Because again, it was like, what's Harry thinking? Yeah. No, it wasn't. It was what's Joe thinking.
I was going to say, you didn't.
And he sent me a really good clue, and I got it wrong. So no one's going to have got my one.
Wow.
Because it was Perfect Dark, and I'm just realising now I completely ballsed it up.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, it was Perfect Dark. And his clue was perfect score at night. No,
full marks at night.
It was like full marks at night.
It wasn't even my one, and I remembered it.
Yeah, so I balls that up. So nobody got that one. Whoopsie.
No prizes there.
Joe didn't even get it, and it was his own one.
Fucking hell.
I know. Oh, and what was your one? Was Grandpa Simpson's Great Adventure. This one was fantastic. What was the answer to that one?
Abe's Odyssey.
Oh, it's such a good one.
I love that one.
Oh, it's so good. So those were last week's Game in 60 Seconds. Like we said last week, if you've got all of the Game in 60 Seconds right so far, get a fucking life. But also let us know, because if you get all of them right all the way until the end of Season 1, we will give you a personal get a fucking life in the first episode of Season 2. So you'll get your own, we'll get like a fanfare, we'll get some really like regal music, and we will say to that person, get a fucking life, and that will be your prize.
But the only thing is, it is now impossible to get all of them right up until Season 2, because you read yours out wrong.
Yeah, because I got my one wrong. So if you get all of them apart from Perfect Dark, then we'll
basically,
still think about
everyone
it. But
starts
so
with a
far,
freebie.
Nobody has messaged us at all yet that they've even got any of them right. So no one's going to win this. So
Maybe
don't
it's
worry.
us that needs to get a life then.
Oh my god, that's really introspective, that is. No. Maybe what we need to get is an award.
Oh, we've got one.
We've got one. Yeah, we've got one already.
Living the high life.
So, shall we do this week's Game in 60 Seconds, Shaun?
Yes. Who's
Right.
going first?
I'll go first. I'll
Okay.
go first, because my one's written in the Discord and I can see it.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So, that vacuum needs a funeral. That vacuum needs a funeral. What game is that? What game in 60 seconds is that vacuum needs a funeral? Quite obvious, that one.
Is it?
Not quite as shite as that shoe's not very bright, but still not brilliant.
I don't think I figured that one out, actually. I remember you
not?
saying it to me a little while ago.
I mean, I told you it like 3 times.
Did you tell me the game?
That's how good this clue is. Yeah, I've told you the game like 3 times. I've told you this exact clue like 3 times. I told you on Discord before we started recording.
No, I know you told me the clue, but
It's nice to know that you
I mean,
listened
like
to
the
me.
game that it is.
No, I definitely said the name of the game.
Oh fuck! I wasn't listening. I was too
Award-winning
busy
there, Shaun.
polishing my award.
Not polishing your massive bollocks though. Right, Shaun, what's your game? What's your game in 60 seconds?
Compose myself. It is those quintuplets need a wash. Those quintuplets need a wash.
This is the best one so far. It's so good. Oh, I love how the first week that we did this, Duncan was like, it's a game where you go fishing and you smith tools and you make lots of friends. And it was like this whole journey and this whole story of what the game's about, and encapsulated the entire idea of a title in 60 seconds. And now it's those quintuplets need a wash.
I mean, even mine started out as riddles. And now
I
they've
know.
just gone.
And you've just completely come down to my level. I love it. It's so good.
Oh, fucking hell.
Now, we may be award winning, which we are. However, we did have an issue with our sponsor again. So last week, we were sponsored by Google Stadia, weren't we, Shaun?
Yes. Yes?
Now, I think that they may use the same email servers as Twitter support, because so far, no one's got
I think
back
it's
to
just
us.
that. I
Very
think it's just that they're
disappointing.
all out of the job.
Yeah. So we don't have a sponsor this week, but what we would like to do is just take a moment and we'll just bow our heads. If everyone listening to this, if you're driving, don't bow your heads because you'll crash and die. But if you can just all
Tony,
bow
if
your
you drive
heads
into the office,
and we'll just
do not
you
bow
can
your head.
just pay a moment's respect for @GamersWatchCast. A dear friend of ours at GamersWatchCast he was there from the start, he was there through episode 1. He was there, through episode 2. I remember when he was there for episode 3 and even episode 4. And you'll never believe it, Shaun, he was there for episode 5 and 6 as well, but tragedy struck one day. And Twitter thought that we were spam, and they threw us in the bin. They discarded us like yesterday's homemade beef, and they just threw us away. And now they won't even respond back to us. Now, I just want to read out, I don't know if you saw this, Shaun, but I sent Twitter support an email, and I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
So this is the last that we spoke to Twitter support. This was the last time we heard from them, and I'm carrying on saying this because I'm stalling for time because I can't find the email currently, and I should have probably prepared
Maybe we should
this.
say something nice about Gamers
Before.
Watch podcast while you're trying to find that.
I found it. Don't worry. I found it, Shaun. Don't worry. I'll save your breath. So this is the last email that we sent to Twitter support. So on the 18th of February, hello, we received an appeal regarding your account. Blah 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 blah. Please confirm you're a real person. Hello, I have access to this email address. Also, the phone number provided is the correct one. That was on the 18th of Feb. Then the 24th of February, I emailed, please can we have a response to this? It's now been a week with no explanation. Then, 7 days later, any updates on this? This is getting beyond a joke now. Then 7 days after that, anything yet? Still waiting to hear back from you after we were told 2 or 3 days. And then I thought, you know what, actually, I'm pretty fucking bored of this shite now. So this is the last email that we sent to Twitter support. Captain's log, stardate 48,954. Our destination is an uninhabited planet called Twitter support. There is no sign of life after having made contact attempts on numerous occasions. We will continue to investigate into our ridiculous Twitter ban and hope that one day someone actually responds to us. It's a simple question that we've asked. Why was our page suspended? We hope to one day find out and have our Twitter page returned. Well, Shaun, I don't know about you, but I don't think Twitter's coming back.
No, I
do
think
you?
we're going to be shooting it out of a coffin into deep space, where it's
We're going to be giving it a 12-gun salute.
where it's going to die cold, alone, and awardless.
So we don't have a sponsor this week, but what I just would like to say, and this is from everybody at the Gamers Watch crew, is go fuck yourself, Twitter.
It's going to be like that Red Dwarf episode where they shoot Rimmer's body out and you find out that there's been like thousands of him. It's just going to be like thousands of Gamers Watch accounts, coffins, like
There'll be
floating in
Gamers
space.
Watch Cast, Gamers Watch Crew, Gamers Watch Pod, Gamers Watch Account, Gamers Watch Guys, Gamers Watch Shaun,
support.
Gamers Watch Support. Yeah, there's going to be literally thousands of different Gamers Watch accounts. But yeah, just from everybody here, just go fuck yourself, Twitter. Should we move on, Shaun?
Mm-hmm. Before I get too angry at Twitter.
Yeah.
And before they hear this and ban us.
Let's talk about something we enjoy. Let's talk about Sea of Thieves, Tales from the Tavern, Part 2. So cue the music. And the music's going now. Shaun, you
Singing
have a
those
story
sea
for me,
shanties.
don't you?
Yes, I have, if I can find it.
Now, the only words that you said to me was leaking treasure. That's all I know.
That's the name of my tale.
I'm excited to find out what this leaking treasure is all about.
I'm proud of myself, but it doesn't take a lot to make me proud of myself.
Well, let's get into it.
So I was doing a little fishing voyage on an island as part of the light fishing event that's going on when a gold hoarder emissary ship turned up and just sunk my ship, as they do when they're passing by a completely friendly and harmless person. So I was close enough to see it because I was just on the shore of the island. So while they weren't on their ship because they took a keg and jumped on my ship to blow it up, I quickly swam to their ship and just set the sails, lifted the anchor, and just started dropping all their treasure one by one off the edge of the ship. So it left like a massive trail of treasure along the ocean.
I'm guessing they had a lot of treasure.
They had quite a bit. They had like a reaper's chest, one of those grog chests where you get really drunk while holding it. Quite a few mermaid gems and skulls. But so I was dropping them one by one as the ship was just sailing away. And then I jumped off myself and started hiding some of the treasure on the island that I was on. They managed to get back to their ship and they turned it around and came back to the island to gather their stuff. So I hid under the water when I saw them coming back. Boarded them again when they got back off to grab their stuff and started dropping more treasure back off. So it was just
beautiful.
like one of those endless loops where they'll put a chest on, come off, they'll come back to put something else on, and the chest's gone again. It's just in the water.
Oh, that's so good. How long did this go on for?
This went for about 10 minutes, this part.
Jeez.
And so I was every now and then taking one bit when I had some time and hiding it on the island to come back to later. Anyway, as I was bringing one of the chests back, I was about to cross paths with one of them in the water, and I was underneath him because I kept hiding underwater. So I shot him with a shotgun and killed him, took the chest back off him, and while they were respawning, I set their ship sailing again, just on its own, off into the horizon, and then hid the treasure again. They came back again for the third time.
Wait, they didn't learn their lesson the first two times?
No, and I'm shipless at this point, so I'm literally just hiding in this, floating in this water, waiting for them to come back each time. And but they wanted to get the Reaper's chest because I think you get doubloons for it if I remember right. But anyway, they came back and they got the Reaper's chest. So I thought, I'll spawn to my ship now and try and get the treasure. And with the Reaper's chest, it tracks where you are on the map, so you can see where the chest is. So I could see them moving, so I knew where they were going.
Yeah.
And I thought, fuck it, I'll follow them for a little while. Why not? I'm not getting any fishing done now. So I'll follow them. We had traded a few cannon shots back and forth. And then one time I turned to head towards them and I saw them hold another keg to blow me up, powder keg thing. And as we got close, they jumped onto my ship. So I just sprinted past them and jumped onto theirs.
Oh, no way.
Took the Reaper chest again, chucked a load of treasure back in the water while it was sailing off.
Fucking hell. That is so funny.
We were near a fort, so I swam to the fort with the Reaper chest because I knew they'd be able to see it on the map.
Yeah.
And I just went to the top of the fort, started looking at them through the telescope to see what they're doing. And they started circling the fort, so either thinking about how to get me or waiting for me to leave. And all the while, their actual treasure had now sunk. All the other stuff I'd just been chucking off overboard.
Yeah.
While they were stalking me, they got attacked by a megalodon and skeleton ship inside.
Oh my god. See, that's the thing. Because when we were on the other day, we had nothing to lose.
No, well, I don't know. I was just trying to fish. I literally just wanted to be left alone to do some fishing.
Don't mess with pirates that have nothing to lose. Because we did some tall tales, didn't we? Over the sort of the 2 weeks in between recording. And it got to a point where we were on an island and these guys could see us just fishing, doing nothing. They didn't realise we were on a tall tale. And luckily you went and hid the totem so we could come back. Yeah. But I'm just fishing, waving at them, and they just decided to fire themselves onto our ship and just to keep killing us over and over again. But we had nothing on our ship. And we went over to their ship, and it was covered in treasure. Just leave us alone. So what did we do? We blew the fuck out of it. We powder kegged it. We went away and then came back. But then we found that they weren't in their ship. So we just battered the shit out of it and stole all their stuff and then took it to a Reaper and got 10,000 coin when we were literally doing nothing and we had nothing to lose. Yeah, don't mess with the pirate that's got nothing to lose.
They were an emissary as well, so they had a lot to lose if they asked. Because I think they were grade 3 or grade 4.
They were grade 4.
But yeah,
grade 4 Reaper emissary, and we got a shitload of money.
I know. I don't get it. Just why? And it just shows how petty I will become because I could have.
Oh, you're a petty
I could have
bastard.
taken the treasure and sort of hid it all on the island, but I just found it more funny knowing that all they would see is all that treasure they probably spent 4 or 5 hours accumulating, just slowly leaking out of this ship, dropping off the side one by one. So yeah, that's the tale of leaky treasure.
I just love how much fun we're having in Sea of Thieves. It's so great. I'm so glad that Tom turned us both back onto it.
We still need to sail.
And we're gonna get together soon with Tom and do a podcast sale, but it's just so much fun. And it's nice that we've got this Tales from the Tavern section where we can just talk about just having loads of fun in a game. It's so lovely. And we've got some stories from listeners that we'll go through on our next Tales of the Tavern. I've got a particularly good one about an entire server all chasing after a key. And I think quite a famous streamer actually caught most of it on his stream, which is quite cool, but we'll talk about that in the next episode of Tales of the Tavern. But it's just been so much fun getting back into it. Really has. It's great. Now, Shaun, I do want to just end the podcast on a lighter note.
Yep.
Now, long-time listeners of the show will know that we've got a friend, Tony, in America. Chicago Tony, absolutely rock solid guy. I've been on his show a couple of times. Shaun, you still need to call into him.
I know.
Although it's very expensive and the easiest way to do it is through Skype. But I'll talk to you about that after the show. He is such a cool dude. He is such a chill out dude. And we love him. I listen to his show every single lunchtime and he's just great. However, there's obviously a time difference of about 6 hours between us. And at about 9 a.m. GMT, I got a message from him. And it was just him being like, oh, hey Harry, how are you? You okay? And I said, Tony, it's 3 a.m. What the hell are you doing up? And so it turns out that his dog is basically leaking the worst sulfuric farts ever known to man. And they are so bad that they wake him up, but they keep him awake.
They linger.
So Tony's days have been starting at like 2 a.m, and then he just can't get back to sleep. So Tony has been messaging us at like 3 a.m, just in his bed. And I like to imagine that when he's in bed, he's still wearing his sunglasses in his hat. I like to think that that's just his look and he goes with it all the time. With the Dunkin'
Donuts cup.
But there is a little bit of controversy around Tony at the moment. And it involves our podcast award. So I don't know if we mentioned it, but we did win a podcast award a few days ago. And Tony was actually up for a nomination. He was up for the best podcast with no editing, because Tony does not edit a single part of his show. He live streams on Reddit and then he uploads it directly to his sort of podcast network, and they distribute it for him. Now, firstly, they spelt the name of his show wrong. So he was the Tony V Shopwa, which I think is just ridiculous. And he said to me today that he knew that he wasn't going to win the award when he saw that his name was spelt wrong.
It's not a good omen.
Not very good, no, is it? And the Oscar goes to Leonardo DiCaprio. What? It's never going to happen, is it?
Tom Honk. Tom Honk.
However, I did mention earlier that the... Such a chat, Shaun.
I can't breathe.
Oh, God, Shaun, you're such a twat.
Oh, we need a special guest.
Compose yourself, Shirley. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, the host. So the host of the Smeepers, he got a little bit drunk, which is fine, you know, alcohol's great. Me and Shaun are both having a little drink now.
That's what award ceremonies are for.
However, do you want to know what this dude said about some of the podcasts that he was having to listen to? So he said that 99% of the shows that he had sent in were great, but his exact words were, about 1% of them were straight up dog shit. And he said that live.
Fucking hell.
I know. And we were all in the comments like, that's not right. You shouldn't say that. And then he tried to clarify that he got sent like thousands of podcasts and he had to whittle them down. But don't say that. Don't tell people that the podcasts are dog shit. It's not a good look. However, as much as we're going on about the fact that we're award winning, Tony didn't win his award. And in my mind, Tony is putting out one of the best shows currently on, he calls it Spotify. He didn't realise it was called Spotify. He thought it was called Spotify. He puts out one of the best shows on any podcast network. So although, yeah, we did win an award, it does sort of sully it a bit that he didn't. It sort of makes a mockery of our award. What the fuck am I saying? No, it doesn't. We won an award. We're the best.
We'll start our own awards and get them
I
to
do
Tony.
feel for... Yeah, I do feel for Tony. But Tony straight away said, fuck it, I'll make my own awards. And that just sums up Tony,
awards.
I think. He didn't win an award, so he said, I'll make my own and I'll win my own.
The pepperoni awards, it's just a big pepperoni slice.
Yeah, it's just him eating a pizza saying, this is my award.
Not even a small award, they're just full-size busts of Tony eating a slice of pizza.
Just a full-size bronze statue. Just a human statue eating a pepperoni slice. With
your award host, Tom Honk.
Oh my God. Well, I need to tell that to Tony now and he's going to get that sorted out. But I wanted to end today's show just saying that, you know, if you don't already, go and listen to Chicago Tony V. He's got a great daily show. And it just made me laugh that we were all getting really excited about winning these awards. And then Tony just messaged me like, this is some bullshit. Oh, I love giving Tony shit. It's so good. But just wanted to say thank you, Tony, for listening. We really do appreciate your support. And really, we just appreciate the support of everybody who listens to the show. So, you know, thank you again. We hope these shorter episodes do work. We seem to have a bit more fun with them.
It's nice to have a break midway between recording 2 episodes as well.
It is. It's nice.
Breather.
It gives us a bit of time to just turn our brains off. But from everybody here, and I say everybody, I just mean me and Shaun, thank you for listening to this show. It means the world to us if you recommend us. So please do share this around. Follow us on Twitter unless we get banned again. And we will see you guys next week. So all the best and we'll catch you soon.
Ta-ta.
Bye.